poor Wilma Cat. Sometimes kitties just fall over. Well, today's video is about my next steps in education. So, I've mentioned on a few of the previous videos that I do have future plans, and I am enrolled in Louisiana State University for the fall term in the Master of Library and Information Sciences program. So I've gotten the question before, oh, you want to be a librarian? And no, actually, but maybe. So in the future, maybe further down the road, possibly, always leave your career aspects open. That's a huge thing. You never know where your career might lead, but it's not really my primary focus. My primary focus is what the actual degree is. So the actual degree is Master of Library and Information Science. Now that last part is what actually interests me, information science. So information science is actually and this is the actual definition off of ChatGPT, the interdisciplinary study of how information is collected, organized, stored, retrieved, and used. It focuses on the process and systems that support the efficient handling of the information, often used in technology such as databases, networks, and software systems. So, I've got a master's in cybersecurity. I've got a master's in information systems. I work in these fields. I regularly use these things. I develop these things. So it's a natural fit on that part. How is this different? The main difference here, this is the efficient handling of the information. So this isn't about how to collect the data. I mean, there are classes in that. Because, this is a Master of Library in Information Science. But the thing here is the efficient handling of that information. So the big thing here is information sciences is the exploration of how we turn data into the knowledge and how we design the systems to help people and find the information and use it effectively. So we're looking at how do we turn data into knowledge. So what is data? Data is anything. So I've gathered a whole bunch of stuff. Well, you got to turn it into information. Because that data is just something like person A, 18, 30 hours. Okay, that tells me nothing. The information of that is person A is 18 years old and spends 30 hours on average viewing videos about cats per week. That's information that can help me. So you're looking at the science of turning that data into information effectively and being able to design systems and things of that nature. Now, really, my interests are less on the designing of those systems because, there's a lot of information out there on how to do that. Hell, I've designed databases. I've implemented databases. I've implemented front-end, back-end stuff before. I'm by no means a guru in that, but I know how to do it. So my interest is actually in some of the more strange parts of that. So I got looking into this field back during COVID when I came across a video on dead internet theory. This internet theory is about how the internet is kind of filled with a large percentage of bots, and these bots are controlling the information. Well, fast forward a few years, and there's actually studies by Mandiant and CloudStrike and CloudFront and a few other agencies that say, hey, there are a large number of bots out there scraping the internet, AI generating stories on news sites, things like that nature. There's a huge percentage of bots out there versus actual people using the internet. So it turns out the dead internet theory, while kind of, what's the word? Kind of sensational and kind of stupid. It's not actually too far-fetched. So, I thought, why not do some research into that? Why not look into that? Well, there's another aspect I was interested in. I came across a lot of videos and a huge uptick in people looking at the decay of physical media and backing up things like VHS onto digital. So it turns out things like VHS decay. VHS tapes have film, and that film decays over time. It grows mold. It actually, degrades. And there's a lot of good movies out there. Data on those strips. And that's being lost. Those were never designed to work forever. You can put those in a room and seal them up airtight. They're still going to decay and degrade, and they're going to vanish. Well, it turns out CDs, which were created to solve that problem somewhat, those are decaying. Because even the best created CDs and the more advanced and the newer ones, corners were cut. CDs were basically the film that the data is written on was wedged between two pieces of plastic on a lot of the cheaper ones. When you do that, those two pieces of plastic separate over time. They separate just enough that they can grow mold. What does that mold do? What mold always does. Grows and destroys things. There goes that data. So things like that, along with all the old archaic media formats like zip media, the old 5.5 floppy, the even larger floppy disks, things like that. I want to help preserve that type of media. I want to be able to help put that onto digital so that other people can access that. There's software out there that's vanishing off the internet. Every day, websites go offline. Their creators just don't renew. People pass away. That data is vanishing. A few months back, the Internet Archive was hit with a heavy attack. It was compromised. There was talk of it just not being recovered. Luckily, it did recover, but it's still recovering. There was some data loss there. That's not coming back. So things like that. There's a lot of stuff out there we should and do and we can preserve. I want to be a part of that. I want to learn how to do it. Not just from a practical perspective, but from an academic. Now, I've toyed around with going for a PhD 1 or 2 times. I've gotten so far as to applying for it. And there's a bunch of reasons why I haven't. Well, a few good friends of mine have talked to me, and there's one program I was looking at the University of North Texas and a couple other programs that are interdisciplinary. They can be done online or they're hybrid in approach. And these programs are focused in information science, by nature, information science is an interdisciplinary approach, meaning you're pulling from multiple stuff like library science, computer science, data science. You're not just focused in something like I'm going for a PhD in history or I'm going for a PhD in computer engineering. This is a PhD that focuses and pulls from multiple fields. Now, library and information science is by nature an interdisciplinary type degree. Well, their idea was actually a really good one. And it was something that I kind of had at the back of my mind. Library and information science is an interdisciplinary degree. Why not use it as a test? If I really like the field and it really clicks with me, do it. I was going to do the master's degree anyway. Use it as a launching field into my PhD. Use it to start that research. Do a few papers in the graduate coursework. Maybe do some not published, but publishable research or close to publishable research. It's entirely possible. So that's my next educational step, is going for that MLIS degree. I chose Louisiana State University because they have this degree online. Not just that, their degree has a, they call it a dual degree, but it depends how you terminology and everything. But they call it a dual degree. And they have a certificate, a graduate certificate in archival studies. Now this focuses just in what I want to do, archival of data in physical media. So instead of random library and information science electives, I'm going to fill those electives with the requirements for that archival science degree. And the dual degree option was designed for this. In fact, my academic counselor will be guiding me through that when I speak with her in, I believe late July is when I have that scheduled. But I've already laid all my degree program out. Benefit of having done a graduate degree or two before is I know how the process works, so I can actually write it all out if given the documentation. They already shared the graduate handbook with me. It was available online, so I know how to do all that. So I'll be getting the MLIS and the graduate certificate in archival studies. Again, this is going to help me if it all clicks and if I feel that I'm prepared and that I still want to do it, to move into doctoral studies. That would be an intense process. It'd be time consuming. It would take a couple years, maybe 3 years, maybe more. But if I want to do it, I could go for a doctorate. But for now, my next step is attending Louisiana State University starting in the fall. Fully online. Probably going to step foot on campus once or twice. I was going to fly up there for the orientation, but probably not. I've got way too many projects at work right now. So, kind of where I am academic-wise. That's about it for today. I guess I'm going to make sure that Wilma is still alive over here because she's been passed out during this entire time. And it is close to her lunchtime or dinner, depending on what time it is right now. So, have a good day, everyone.